if we basically, to make things short, if we would have listened to begin with, right? Because our people, we like to mess up and then suffer the consequences later, right? We always want to enjoy ourselves and pleasure first, but then reap the consequence later. God said if we just listen to begin with, what's going to happen?
Which I command thee this day,
all them years ago,
that the Lord thou God will set thee on high,
right,
above all nations.
The God said he was going to put us on top above all nations, right?
Of the earth.
Of the earth, right? Keep going.
And all these blessings shall come upon thee. And overtake thee. God
said all these blessings was going to overtake our people. When something overtakes you, right? My finger's been overtaken. See what I'm saying? So if something overtakes it, right, it has no will to get out of that. So the Lord said we was going to be overtaken by blessings, right? Now, do you think that has happened?
So, in some ways, yeah.
In some ways, right? But think of our people as a whole. Think of blacks, Hispanics as a whole, right? Do you think that we've been overtaken by blessings as a whole?
Yeah, because we can still do the same right now. Not.
Okay, so what is the opposite of a blessing? If I was to flip it, what would the word be for the opposite? Blessings and
setbacks.
You got setbacks. It start with a C though.
Consequences.
Okay, that's a good one. But there could be good consequences. You see what I'm saying? The opposite of a blessing is a curse. Right? So check this out. Jump to verse 15. So I'm going to show you exactly why we had to endure this and have to endure everything that we go through. It's more than just the race we have to, the racial injustice that we go through. Right? It's the way that our people live. It's the way that our people get treated. These are things that we go through every single day. Right? Bring that out.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15.
But
it shall come to pass.
Meaning this has to happen in the future. Right?
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice the Lord thou God.
Meaning if we didn't listen, right?
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Which he told us to do all them years ago. They still apply to this very day, because God does not change. So all them years ago, he said, I told y'all to do this, right? Let's see if we did those things.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So now he's saying if y'all don't do what I said, all these curses is going to come upon y'all as a whole nation. Not just, what's your name, brother? Not just Chris, right? Not just me, not just Judah, right? But as a whole nation of people. Now look at our people. We beautiful, right? We out here, right? We love to be amongst each other. But if you go to a cookout, more than likely you might encounter a fight, an argument, right? Something might break out, right? And then you don't talk to that one specific family member for like 10 years. See what I'm saying? Right? So let's read about some of the curses and see if they apply to us to this very day. Jump down to 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city.
Right? The Lord said we're going to be, if we don't listen, keep in mind, right? If we don't listen to what he told us to do all them years ago, we're going to be cursed in the city, right? So when you go through the city, right, you from here? Or you just visiting? You visiting? From where? Detroit. Cool. Great. Right? So let's say in Detroit, right? Would you say our people are more blessed in Detroit or cursed in the cities? Cursed, right? We live in the hood. We live in the ghettos. We live in the slums, right? We redline. We can't even get on certain properties, right? To this very day. I'm not speaking about maybe 100, 200 years ago with segregation. I'm speaking about current day. Our people are living off food stamps. We live off the government benefits, right? We live off food stamps. We rely on other people to help us raise our own kids. You see what I'm saying? Because we just need that help. We're pushed back. You said setbacks earlier. We're set back so far behind the curve, right, that we have to rely on a government that's not for our people to take care of our people, right? Keep going.
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
And that's everything you see on this sign right here. We cursed in the field, right? You ever seen any of those slave movies? Have you seen a slave ship before? It's massive, right? Now you would think on these massive ships, they got state-of-the-art this and that. No, right? We was packed on the bottom of these ships like sardines. You see this sign right here? That's a slave ship. So they had a designated men, designated women, and designated children, right? And now you had diseases on these slave ships, right? And this is just to get over here. This wasn't us actually over here. This is just to come to America. See what I'm saying? Right? You had diseases. You had people getting seasick. You had people using the bathroom. People starving to death. People just dying, right? Just drop dead and you laying next to a dead body for months and years. just to get to a place that you was gonna be made a slave. You see what I'm saying? Right? Give me jump down to verse 45.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45.
Right, because this whole chapter is talking about stuff that we go through. But to get, kind of to make the point easier, that's why I like to jump around on it.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you.
And keep in mind, it said what? All these curses, right? It didn't say blessings. We off the blessings now, because we messed that up for ourselves. We on to curses, right?
It shall pursue thee and overtake thee.
So it's going to pursue us, right? When a cop is in pursuit, that means it's hot on the trail. So these curses is hot on our trail to this very day. Keep going.
Till thou be destroyed.
Until we be destroyed. The purpose of these curses is to destroy us mentally, right? Because we've been physically killed, right? Day to day. You see this sign right here? Right? This is the top 16 of, the most famous cases of our people that got murdered by police violence. But it's deeper than that. It's more than just police killing us. We kill each other, right? That's a part of the curses. I'm going to read it in a little bit. Keep going.
Because thou hearkenest not into the voice the Lord thou God.
Because we didn't listen. That's where it all stems from, right?
To keep his commandments.
To do what he said. Simple, right?
And statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
Right? So, I'm going to ask you this. If I go to, how do I know that this is the library behind me? Usually on a building, exactly. A sign shows you where certain things are or what something is, right? Like, I say this book title, it's called the Apocrypha. I know because the sign of it is the title, right? So the Lord said that these curses would be on us for a sign to show us who we are today, right? Keep going.
And upon thy seed
forever. Read that part again.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
These things make us wonder, like, why did we go through this? You see what I'm saying? We the only nation of people. We look like we thriving. Look around. We look like we doing good. We look like we thriving, having a good time. But deep down, we got mental trauma. We destroy. We hate each other, right? We pursue each other, right? We do all these different types of acts of malice towards each other, right? We got to think about these things. But when we get together for an event like this, it's all high five, this and that, right? Dap ups. Right, let's get together, let's click up, let's get dressed, right, let's go out, right? But when it comes to dealing with each other one-on-one, we secretly hate each other. We jealous of each other, we despise each other. But we ain't never gonna outwardly say it because we don't want to be found as haters, right? But that's what we are inwardly, right? Keep going. It's a mental thing. We are mentally destroyed.
And upon thy seed forever.
It's gonna be in our seed forever, meaning it's gonna be in our kids, right? So our kids are gonna think the way that we think because we teach them, right? And they learn from the things that they observe and what they take in, right? So jump down to verse, I'll keep going on that. And then after you're done with those, give me verse 54.
Because thou servest not the Lord thou God.
All of this stems because of our disobedience. And I'm going to touch on that in a little bit, right? Give me verse 54.
Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you.
Now this is something you could probably kind of relate to now because we're men, right? So the Lord is saying the man that is tender among you. Like this is my little brother right here, right? I treat him just like myself, right? But the Lord says something is going to happen that's going to cause a division between us, right? What's going to happen?
And very deadly. His eye shall be evil towards his brother.
Now the Lord said we will be very delicate one towards another. That's like me saying, what's going on, Chris? How you feeling, bro? You need anything? You need me to get you anything? Right? I go from that to like, damn, look at this nigga. We kind of looking at you crazy. This nigga got on blue. We all wearing black and red. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Right? That's how we think. We literally, like I said earlier, we have that spirit to hate one another inwardly. Right? Keep going.
And his eye shall be evil towards his brother.
That's why you got gang violence, Bloods and Crips. Who are they? Right? They're so-called black and Hispanics. Right? There's no coincidence. Keep going.
And towards the wife of his bosom.
Right? These are all spirits. Right? These things are on us because of our disobedience. Again, I gotta hammer that home. It's all because of what we did or what we didn't do, right, that got us in this position. So now we're saying towards his wife, right? We the number one leading statistic when it comes to domestic violence, right? And the man put his hands on the woman, she got black eyes, she bruised up. The woman, she put her hands on the man. It's all types of stuff. You see Blueface and Krishan Rock, how toxic that couple is. right? That's a perfect example to show just how destroyed our household is. And what happens when you have a broken household? You got single mothers raising a single mother raising a man. You see what I'm saying? Right? Single mothers raise men. Those men grow up to not know how to be a man. You see what I'm saying? Right? And a lot of our people are victims of that. Right? They have to learn how to be men through other people outside of their family. They got to learn it through TV. Right? They learn how to be a man through BET. See what I'm saying? You learn how to be a man through BET. You're destroyed. You're done. You know what I'm saying? Right? Keep going.
And towards the remnant of his children.
Right. Now, before I get this, it says now he's going to have that hatred toward his own kids. Right? Now, what is the black man known to do when it comes to his children? You said what? Like, how is the black man seen in a black household toward concerning his children? I'll say it like this. Well, we'll read it. Right? Keep on.
And towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
So-called black man known to leave his kids. That's in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? So this is a curse. This is not a blessing. This is upon our people, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? That we can see to this very day. So-called black man leave the household, right? It's women that drove him out, right? Or other factors. Now he leave his kids in the hands of his woman, right? His woman raising up, man by himself. That's not going, it ain't going to be good. That's why you got a lot of punk men running around now. They beating their women and stuff because they wasn't learned or taught how to be an actual man, how to handle certain situations. See what I'm saying? Make sense? All praise to the Most High. Right? Now, give me Jeremiah 17:4. Right? Because now we got to get to the nitty gritty. Right? I know I'm going a little fast, you know what I'm saying? But I want you to understand the point. All praise.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4.
Right?
And thou, even thou so.
Now he's saying, even us, right? He's speaking to this generation, the future generation. Because you got to understand, this is the book of Jeremiah, right? These are our forefathers that wrote this book, right? So he's speaking to his descendants that come after him, right? So he's saying, even us, in this present day, 2024, right? What's going to happen?
Shall discontinue from thy heritage,
right?
That I give thee.
So if I was to ask you what your nationality was, what would you tell me? African American, right? Now, has the continent America, has it been known as America since the beginning of time? No. They say Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1692. That's the year, right? 19 something, right? 1492, right? That's when they say America was so-called discovered. So now we're being called African American when there's a whole ocean that divides these two land masses. Right? Where if I ask the Russian man what's his nationality, he can tell me Russia. I'm descended from Ireland, Spain, right? I descend from this and that. If I ask the Chinese man or the Asian man where he come from, he could tell me all his dynasties, his whole family lineage. See what I'm saying? But if I ask the so-called black man where does he come from? Africa. What part of Africa? I don't know. See what I'm saying? Right? That's how we think because the Lord said he would take away our heritage. Read that again.
Hey, thou so shall discontinue from thy heritage that I give thee.
The Lord gave us the heritage Israelites, right? So he said, I'm going to have to take that away. The word Israelite means prince of the power, right?
And I will cause thee to serve thy enemies.
Now, did we go into captivity? Slavery? Did we have to serve? The Lord calls them our enemies. Because your friend wouldn't put you in chains and shackles, beat you to death, hang your woman upside down, and cut their stomachs open. They wouldn't do that. You see what I'm saying? Right? The Lord refers to them as our enemies. Right?
In the land which thou knowest not.
And the land that we never knew. We ain't always know what America was. You see what I'm saying? We had to travel here. Right?
For ye have kindled a fire in my anger.
Basically, everything that we go through since we came here, it was all because we pissed off God. Right? Make sense, brother? Right? So, you got a little bit more time on you? About 5 minutes? Cool. So, give me Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Right? So now that we understand the reason why we went into that, actually, give me Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8. Right? Check this out. We understand the reason why we went into captivity is because we abstained from keeping God's commandments. So what do you think we have to do to kind of reverse that? Right? If your dad say, look, your report card not too good. He sent you down. He said that report card looking kind of trash. Right? He says, so in because of that, I'm gonna have to take away the PlayStation, right? What do you think you have to do to get that PlayStation back? Exactly. There we go. Good. Right? So it's the same concept with the Most High, because he sees us, the Israelites, as his children. That's literally what Israelite means, child or prince of God, right? He gave us that name, right? So the Lord said, look, in order to get these blessings that were promised to y'all, right, y'all would have to, like you said, work hard to get them, right? We would have to actually change our ways. Hold, while you have that, give me Romans 12:2. There we go. Romans 12:2. We have to have our mind changed in a sense of, dang, I really have to come back to God, because we strayed so far to where we don't know the name of God. We don't know who we are. We're destroyed. God said all this will happen if we stray from him, right? Check this out.
This is a book of,
Right? It all begins in your thought process, how you think towards him.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
That's simple. All he's saying is have a different mindset towards it, right? Because we grew up in the church thinking, the Bible this, the Bible that. It's a book of fairy tales, right? White man wrote that book, but none of that is true. We have to change our mind and read this with an open mind, that this is our people. These are the things that they've learned, and we have to take these things in, because this is our life source, honestly. This is our history. This is our wisdom. This is our understanding, right? All right, that's it on that. That's all I wanted. Go back to Baruch 3:8.
So what happened to us? What happened to the people?
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna just get them squared away real quick, and then I got you.
This book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
Now, believe it or not, right? We are yet this day in our captivity, right? And I'm gonna make it short, right? But we are yet this day in our captivity, meaning we have to pay tribute, right, to other people, right, to build up their lands, right? Even though we're not being mentally whipped and stuff like that, right? Mentally, we're destroyed. We don't know who we are. They say a best slave is a slave that don't know who's a slave, right? And it is, because he's not going to rebel, right? Back then, when we started all those slave rebellions, we knew who he was. But now that we don't know who we are, it's better to kind of control us, right? It's better because now we fear them, right? Sirens come on behind you, your heart rate start going up. You don't know what's going to happen next. See what I'm saying? Right? Because they built up a sense of fear that we should have towards them and not towards our God, right? Keep going.
Where thou hast scattered us.
Right? We've been scattered all over the planet, right? Keep going.
For a reproach and a curse.
For a what?
For a reproach and a curse.
You see the pattern there is all because of the curses, all because of disobedience, right?
And to be subject to payment.
Now you're making payments, right? You got a job, they taking, $100-something out your check, right? You make $100 a day at work. Some of these jobs you only make like about $50, $60 a day. All of that's going to taxes. It's like you didn't even work that day, because all that money you made is going straight to the pockets of people you will never see, right? It's not to benefit your people. We still live in the hoods. We still live in the slums. You see what I'm saying? None of that has benefited us, right? They give us an HBCU to make us, to shut us up. Because if we ask for reparations this, ask for reparations that, you think they're going to give it to us? No, exactly. That's why, we got HBCUs, right? We have Black History Month, right? We got Black Lives Matter. It's all so that we would shut the hell up. You see what I'm saying? Keep going.
According to all the iniquity of our fathers.
According to all the sins that our fathers did, now we got to pay the price. See what I'm saying?
Which departed from the Lord our God.
Right.
Hear Israel, the commandments of light.
Right, it says, hear now, you're Israel. That's your nationality. It's not African American. It's not black. It's not from Detroit American. You see what I'm saying? He said, hear Israel. You're an Israelite, brother. Right, and that's what we're trying to get our people to understand, that they're God's chosen people. Right?
Give ear to understand wisdom.
How
happens it, Israel, that thou art in thy enemy's land?
Damn. And we got to ask ourselves that, how the hell did we end up here? You see what I'm saying? So now that you understand that, give me Deuteronomy 10 and 12. I'm going to get you about two more, all right? Give me Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Right?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel.
Right, it's talking to you, right?
What doeth the Lord thou God require of thee?
Now you got to ask, okay, if you go home, right, let's say you 8 years old, right? You know, you go home from school, you know the first thing that's required of you by your parents. First thing you do before you get in when you get in the house is to do your homework, right? Your parents require that. You already know the business, right? Now we got to ask ourselves, we understand what our earthly parents want of us. They demand of us. They want us to be successful, whatever. Now we got to understand what God wants of us. What is, since we're called and chosen and holy and this and that, okay, what do you expect from me? Let's bring it out.
Now Israel, what doeth the Lord require of thee? But to fear the Lord thou God.
Right? To fear God is to understand that He's in charge of everything. A lot of people, they fear the devil. They fear this and that. They got to understand the Lord created everything, right? People are afraid of getting into car accidents. Some people can't drive on the highway. They get anxiety. They don't know how to drive, right? You got to understand the Lord is in control of all things. Whether you inherit $1,000 tomorrow, whether your bank shut down and you lose all your money, you got to understand God did all that, right? So that's what it means to fear Him, right?
To walk in all His ways.
Right, you got to walk in all His ways, right?
And to love Him.
Right, you got to love God, right? What do you, real quick, what do you believe, and this is the last question I'm asking, right? What do you believe it means to love God? Go to church. Now, is the church teaching you what we're teaching you? What did they teach you? Now, this is the thing about it. There's a certain way you get to heaven, right? Hell just means, and when you read the scriptures, hell just means to be in the lowest state, kind of like Jonah, right? When you read about heaven, the only way to get to heaven is for Israel, because the Lord Christ said all the time, right? I'm not sent but into the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You got Acts 5:29. You got Matthew 1:21. He only states that He's only coming for the house of Israel, right? But there's a requirement behind that. You got to believe in Christ, and then you got to keep the commandments. So it's a two-part system, right? And He's going to bring it out. Keep going. Verse 13.
Verse 13. To keep the commandments of the Lord.
That's what it means to love God, because love is an action, right? You have to show somebody that you love them. You can't just say, it's not just a word, I love you, little bro. I can't say that, and then I'm beating, punching them in. Yeah, I can't do that, right? So to show that you love the Lord, you have to do what He says, right?
In His statutes, which I command thee this day.
All them years ago, He commanded us that.
For thou good.
For our good, right? So I'm going to get you one commandment, right? I'm going to ask you this. What is your favorite food to eat?
Probably chicken.
Chicken. You eat pork? Bacon? All right, cool. What about seafood? You eat seafood?
It depends what it is.
Shrimp? Crab?
No.
Lobster?
No.
Seafood boil?
No.
Like crawfish? All right, bet. So being from, because remember, the word Israelites, the Lord said that we're set apart, right? So everything we do is different from what the world does, right? So God said, look, I'm going to make a certain diet for y'all to follow. Because that's just like, let's say, your children. Let's say you got about 2 kids, right? And they're both they're allergic to nuts. Now, would you feed your kids peanut butter jelly sandwich every day for lunch? Why? They can't eat it, right? The Lord thinks about it the same way. He's made unclean food and He made clean food. Now, other nations, like the Chinese people, they're going to eat what they want to eat. They want to eat pork dumplings, they can do that. You see what I'm saying? Right? But the Lord told us there's certain things we got to stick to. Right? Bring that out.
This book of Leviticus.
Start at verse 2.
Chapter 11, verse 2. Speaking to the children of Israel.
Right? Speaking to who?
The children of Israel.
Who is that talking about? It's talking about us. Yeah.
Speaking to the children of Israel. Saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among the beasts that are on the earth. So these are the beasts or the animals, right, that we can eat on the earth, right? Jump down to verse 7. Verse 7. In the swine.
Now it gets specific. He calling out names now, right? So the swine is another name for the pig, right, for the pork. Now let's see what God says about it, right?
Though He divides the hoof.
There's 2 things that make an animal clean or unclean, right? It has to divide the hoof, right? You know when an animal, they got that split in their foot, right? They got to divide the hoof. And then there's another thing. They got to digest their food a certain type of way. They got to chew the cud, right?
It be clover-footed.
Now, a cow, right? A cow is clean. You can eat cow. You can eat beef, right? Steak, all that. Because it splits the hoof. But it also has chambers in its stomach to where it breaks down the food, right? So, keep going. But the pig, it doesn't, right?
yet he sheweth not the cud. He is unclean.
Right? Not only does that make it unclean, but what does a pig do when it gets hot? When it gets hot. If a pig gets hot, what does it start to do? Bet, right? No problem. A pig rolls around in mud, right? Yeah, it's one of them facts that's like it's suppressed, like we forget about it, right? But a pig, it rolls around in mud because they can't sweat. They ain't got no sweat glands like we do, right? So they'll roll around in mud. They get all cool and stuff. Now, if I was to play in dirt, right, I would get ringworms. Simple, right? If a pig rolls around in mud, how many parasites do you think a pig is carrying? A lot. Not only that, but a pig will eat anything. You see what I'm saying? If there was a dead rat right there and I had a pig, it would go out and eat the rat. You see what I'm saying? If it's a dead body hidden in these bushes, the pig is going to go out of this way, trample through these signs, and find that body and eat it. That's just how filthy they are. And the Lord said that they're unclean animals. That's just in their nature, right? They are made to dispose of waste in the world. Some animals are just made to clean up trash. Somebody got to do it, you know what I'm saying? Right? Keep going.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
Commandment. Flesh shall ye not eat, right? Remember that.
In their carcass shall ye not touch.
Right, and you can't even touch a dead pig, man. That's how nasty. You know how you see roadkill? It's a dead raccoon in the middle of the street, right? You can't, if it's a pig, man, you can't touch that. That's how nasty it is, right?
They are unclean to you.
A lot of times when people eat these things their whole lives, they get foggy memory, they get diabetes, clogged arteries, high cholesterol, gout, all these different diseases where you got to take all these medication and pills for could have easily been solved if you just never would have ate it. Exactly. And that's why the Lord set up a dietary law for us. Right? Give me, and it's the last one. Give me, jump down to verse 9.
This is verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
Right. So everything that comes out the water, the Lord said, look, this is what you can eat, and this is what you cannot eat. Right?
Whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters.
Hey, anything, it could be any body of water. It could be salt water, it could be fresh water, it could be a pond, it could be a lake. It don't matter, right? Any body of water, right?
In the seas and in the rivers.
It says fins and scales. These are the requirements for anything that come out of the body of water. It gotta have fins and scales, right? Keep going.
Them shall you eat.
It said them shall you eat, right? So keep going.
And all that have not fins and scales in the sea and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters.
If it move in the waters, if it could find its way through the dark waters, what do God say about it?
And of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
Right, an abomination is something that God hates. Like like I can't stand that. It's an abomination, right? So, knowing that, what kind of fish can you eat? It gotta have fins and scales. Catfish don't have scales. That's a tricky one, but they don't have scales. What about shrimp? Does shrimp have fins and scales? No, right? It's an abomination. And you got to think about it. Shrimp, they live on the sea floor. They clean up all that. Exactly. Yep. Catfish are bottom feeders too. Coincidentally, they don't have scales. They're unclean. You see what I'm saying? Right? But, you know, we eat fish like you go to a restaurant, you get salmon, the blackened bass, the salmon, the trout. No, these things are clean because they got fins and scales, right? But you eat lobster, they growling on the seafloor. People get octopus, you know, they get that exotic taste, you know what I'm saying? And they start eating octopus and calamari and all that. You can't do that. You can't eat oyster, see what I'm saying? They got to have fins and scales, right? Because you ever been to the beach? What color is the water at the beach? Okay, if I say you ever been to Tybee Island, Myrtle Beach, alright, them really the only two beaches I've been to. But at the common denominator at these beaches is that the water's never blue. It's brown, it's black. Yeah, it's disgusting, right? So we're not supposed to, they fish out the bottom feeders to clean that stuff. So now you wonder why the water is disgusting is because there's nothing to clean it. See what I'm saying? They're like exactly. And they feed it to who? Our people. Because our people love the crab boil, right? They love to go to the juicy crab. They'll get a check and we spend it at the juicy crab, the juicy crawfish, right? And we eating that up, right? Destroying not only our body, but the world that the Most High made. right? It makes sense? All praise to the Most High. So, don't eat that stuff. It's bad for you. You know what I'm saying? That's like eating the lint from a vacuum cleaner, because that's their purpose. I mean, if a whale takes a dump, not to be funny, if a whale takes a dump, somebody got to clean that up. And we're not doing it, you know what I'm saying? The fish got to do it, right? So that was their purpose, is to clean the waters, having a continual cycle, right? The Lord works in cycles. Just how we transitioning from summer to fall, everything goes in a cycle, right? So he made the world to maintain itself without our help. See what I'm saying? Right? But that's all we got. We got a flyer. We get a brother a flyer. For sure. Right, I'm going to get you a flyer, brother. And because I know you got to go. Shit. What pocket is it in? Oh, my bad. And yeah, bro, definitely look. I thought it was in your bag. Alright, God. Shoot. It's all good. Yeah, we give him the YouTube. Alright, bet. But, hey, you got an Instagram? Yeah. Right, look up Sons of Zion, Atlanta. Right, because you say you from Detroit. You stay in Detroit, right? Yeah. Bet. Right, look up Sons of Zion, Atlanta. And then there should be a link to our YouTube channel on there as well. Right? Oh, it should be SOZ Atlanta, my bad. There we go. Yep. But that should, same thing, if you type it into YouTube, it's going to take you to our channel and all that. Where we kind of go a little bit deeper into what we're discussing, how we're the people of the Bible and we got to keep the commandments. Because you see what's going on in the world today, how they got, even amongst all the distractions, because that's what these things are set up for. We got, we go to the games, we go to the concerts, this and that, right? Atlanta's great for getting your mind off stuff, right? But when it comes to world stuff, we got to understand, right? We see World War III on the rise, right? You want to be prepared for this, right? So we have to understand that the Most High, he's moving chess pieces, right? And we got to be ready for that. You see what I'm saying? All praises, King. It was a pleasure talking to you, brother. All right? All right, you too. All right? Give me 1 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 17. And you scoot over a little bit. Yeah. We all the way over there. I didn't even know how we ended up over there.